Huh? What are you two kiddos doing there? Shouldn't you be with Hans or Artem building traps or something? Something to do with a little green man that sells you cereal? I don't know. I can't remember any of your modern trends.
Well, we were going to, but then Mantis mentioned something that caught my attention. Loop is gonna keep the others busy for a while anyway, so I thought now would be an appropriate time to come speak with you.
Huh? What would you two want to speak to me about?
I suppose I was just curious, with all the talk of Area 51 resurfacing lately. Do you really think Equinox will remain trapped under the building? What if he escapes and tries to come after us? I just got used to Arya visiting the farm. I don't know if I can handle another change so soon.
Oh, is that it? You're worried that Equinox is gonna drag us back to Area 51 to rebuild his portaling machine?
That was what he mentioned earlier, yes. But my dad's boyfriend, Rudy, already told me that Equinox is attached to the meteorite buried under the facility. I just wanted to ask you about it to give Mantis some closure, I guess.
Don't worry, kiddos. Equinox ain't leaving that building. And he isn't gonna be able to hurt any of us ever again. We're free now. The townsfolk don't seem to mind us aliens or robots wandering around, and the government hasn't come breaking our doors down yet, so I think it's all gonna work out.
But why is Equinox tied to the meteorite? I just don't get it. If he was so powerful that he could control Harvey for such a long period of time, what's stopping him from coming after us or hurting Benji?
Alright, look. I'll tell you everything I can remember about Equinox, but you gotta promise me you won't repeat it to anyone. I just don't want you two to be worried about this. You're kids. You should be setting stuff on fire or committing other crimes, hopefully also involving arson, not pacing around waiting for the end of the world. So, if I share this with you, you promise not to tell?
I promise, yes.
Although I'm a bit hesitant, yes, I promise as well.
Alright, this isn't something I like to share with anybody, especially not after what happened to poor Harvey, but you two kids deserve to know. Equinox is more than just any alien. He's a parasite. He arrived on Earth in a crash meteor with plans on finding a new host to feed from. Without a strong host, Equinox is bound to the cursed rock he came to our planet on, being why he can't leave the crash site for long enough to find us. I ain't sure if we ever seen Equinox in his true form, or if it's just another one of his weaker hosts that fell victim to his feeding. You see, Equinox is a really big parasite. A hive mind of darkness that casts a shadow across any part of the galaxy it comes to. Basically, Equinox will drain the power from its hosts and use them to spread, infecting entire planets with its virus. I ain't sure why Equinox didn't start to spread the moment he came to Earth. Maybe he was just too weak to take more than one host, but he latched onto the first human to find him. Unfortunately, that human just so happened to be Harvey. As you two already know, Harvey used to be the top scientist who founded Area 51. He planned for it to be a safe place to study the meteor site in hopes of making contact, but it didn't go the way he expected. Long story short, to spare your kids the gorier details, Harvey wasn't in a great place after that. Meredith was gone. Equinox was controlling his body, and he was forced to watch his own facility build portals to steal aliens away from their homes. Harvey always hated it. I would find him crying in his office after a lot of the experiments Equinox did on the poor aliens he had caught. I was one of his first test subjects, you know. I nearly escaped and everything, but I couldn't bring myself to leave.
Why not?
Ain't that part obvious? Harvey was gonna be trapped there forever if I left. Whenever Equinox would free him, Harvey would come down to the holding cells that the aliens were kept in. He'd bring us anything we needed to try and explain the situation, offered to help in any way he was allowed to. He was a good man. Sometimes, since Equinox was always feeding from Harvey's body, the poor guy would forget to eat. I'd have to pick the lock on my cage and come out to help him. Oz and Rudy were in the same holding area as me, so they'd help too, but it was mostly Oz. Something seemed to happen between Harvey and Rudy, and he stopped talking to the rest of us after that. He stole a phone and used it to call an employee from a few halls down, one of the pilots that ran the planes from the station. I'm kinda glad looking back on that, because otherwise Rudy wouldn't have met Artem. That being said, Oz and I did everything we could to try freeing Harvey from Equinox. It took ages, and nothing seemed to do the trick. So when Harvey just kept getting sicker and sicker, I began to worry. Luckily, Benji seemed to blast Equinox to smithereens, so hopefully we won't have to worry about him for a long while. Mantis probably remembers how Harvey spent the next month or two in bed to recover, but now that he's all rested, he's feeling a lot better. It probably helps that he has a dashing husband to help him around. If you couldn't guess, I was talking about myself.
Yeah, okay, we got that. But you're sure? You're completely sure that Equinox isn't gonna come for us?
Well, I would certainly hope not. That parasite was a nightmare to work through.
Hey, Harvey! Glad you're up. I was just telling the kiddos not to worry about Equinox. He's stuck back in the facility, and that's how it's gonna stay.
Dylan? Mantis? Where did you run off to?
Oops. Guess that's our cue to go back. Thanks again, Zalaman.
Are you sure it'll be all right?
Trust me, hun. Equinox ain't gonna be able to get even remotely close to any of us. I'll burn him to ash if he even comes close.
And are you sure that you're all right, Zalaman? You know, after all that's happened, I suppose I just don't want to be a bother.
I'm sure. In fact, with you around, I'm pretty sure I'm the luckiest guy in the galaxy. It was hard, but it was worth every decade.